The internet is full of mysteries, right? But I don't think any of them hold the key to a multi-billion-dollar fortune quite like this one. Today, we're jumping in and going on the hunt for the person, or maybe people, who created Bitcoin. So, who are we talking about? A name? Satoshi Nakamoto. A ghost in the machine who, back in 2008, published this 9-page white paper, launched a global currency, mined about 1 million Bitcoin for himself, and then just vanished completely. This isn't just a history lesson, folks. This is a full-blown detective story. I mean, the way Bitcoin was designed was so elegant, so complete, that it led experts like the security researcher Dan Kaminsky to a pretty stark conclusion. This was not the work of some hobbyist. No way. This was either a highly coordinated team of brilliant people, or it was the creation of a singular, world-class, almost unbelievable genius. All right, so if we're going to have any chance of figuring out who this person was, we've got to first understand what they actually built. And at its heart, Bitcoin was designed to solve one massive problem that's been around since the beginning of e-commerce: trust. How do you build digital money that doesn't need banks? Just think about it for a second. Every single time you buy something online, there's a middleman, right? A bank, a credit card company. And Satoshi looked at this and thought, that's a huge weakness. It adds costs, you have to trust them with all your private info, and they can even reverse payments. The goal was to make something that worked just like digital cash, person to person, no middleman needed. So that leads to the million-dollar question, right? Without a bank keeping track of everything, what stops me from spending the same digital dollar twice? Well, Satoshi's solution was just brilliant. It's a concept called proof of work. Think of it like a super hard, energy-guzzling math problem that computers on the network have to solve to prove that transactions are legit. And the way Satoshi put it was just perfect with this simple idea: one CPU, one vote. In this system, your computing power is your vote. By making it so you have to use real-world resources, I'm talking electricity, processing power, to solve these puzzles and cast a vote, the system makes it way too expensive and difficult for anyone to cheat. It's basically a democracy of machines. Okay, so let's break down how this actually works, step by step. All the recent transactions get bundled together into a block. Then all these computers, the miners, all over the world race to solve that cryptographic puzzle for the block. The first one to solve it wins, and they get to add their block to the public ledger, the chain. And just like that, you have a permanent, unchangeable history of every transaction. That's the blockchain. But here's the thing. Bitcoin wasn't just some random tech project built in a vacuum. No, it was forged in a moment of absolute global crisis. And Satoshi left us all a message, hidden in plain sight, right from the very beginning. I want you to really look at this. This headline from the front page of the Times of London was hard-coded into the very first block of Bitcoin ever created, the Genesis block. This isn't just a timestamp. It's a mission statement. It tells us that Bitcoin was born directly from the ashes of the 2008 financial crisis as a direct answer to the failures of the traditional banking system. And then, poof, just as suddenly as Satoshi showed up, they were gone. The white paper comes out in late 2008. The network launches in early 2009. For about 2 years, Satoshi carefully guided the project on forums and through emails. But then, in mid-2010, they started pulling back, handing over the keys to other developers. And by April 2011, the last known email was sent. And that was it. Silence. And these were the last words we really ever heard from him in a message to developer Mike Hearn. No big goodbye, no dramatic exit, just a quiet handover. It was like his work was done. He built it, gave it to the world, and just walked away. But even a ghost leaves a trail of breadcrumbs, right? In all the years since its disappearance, an army of digital detectives has combed through every email, every forum post, every single line of code, looking for clues. And what they found is just weird. It's a fascinating and kind of contradictory profile. Satoshi would use both British and American spellings, like color, but also optimize. He'd put 2 spaces after a period, which is a really specific quirk from the typewriter days. And he coded in C++, which hints at a more old-school programmer, not some young kid raised on JavaScript. But maybe the biggest clue is when Satoshi was active. Researchers mapped out every single post and code update, and they found this consistent black hole of activity, this dead zone, roughly between 3 a.m. and 11 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. This makes it really unlikely he was just one person living in Europe or the US, because those are prime working hours. So was it a team? Or just someone with a really, really strange sleep schedule? But in all of this complex code, all this cryptography, there's one simple number that just keeps popping up, over and over and over again. A number that feels way too specific to be an accident. 21. Okay, and this is where things get a little weird, maybe a little conspiracy theory, but stick with me. The total supply of Bitcoin capped at 21 million. The mining reward gets cut in half every 210,000 blocks. The digits of his supposed birthday, April 5th, 1975, add them up, you get 21. Even the timestamp on the second block ever mined, the digits add up to 21. Is it all just a massive coincidence? Or was it a deliberate calling card from a mind that really loved puzzles? All right, so we've got the clues, we've got the profile, now let's look at the lineup of suspects. Over the years, tons of people have been pointed to or have even claimed to be Satoshi, but a couple of key theories really stand out. And really, when you boil it all down, the theories go one of two ways. Was it one lone, reclusive genius who just happened to have the skills of a cryptographer, an economist, and a world-class coder all rolled into one? Or was it a small, secret group of academics, maybe from a major crypto research hub in Europe? Now, for that lone genius theory, there's one name that comes up that is just incredibly compelling and also really tragic. Len Sassaman. He was this brilliant American cypherpunk, an expert in the exact type of cryptography used in Bitcoin. He worked at KU Leuven in Belgium, a hotbed for this stuff, and he had a deep, deep distrust of authority. But the timing is what's really haunting. Sassaman tragically took his own life in July 2011, just a few short weeks after Satoshi's last confirmed email. But whoever Satoshi was, we know exactly what they left behind. And I'm not just talking about the technology. They left behind a fortune. It's estimated that in that first year, Satoshi personally mined somewhere around 1 million Bitcoin. And this is the final, mind-blowing piece of the puzzle. That enormous fortune, worth tens of billions of dollars today, has never been touched. Not one single coin has ever been moved or sold from those original wallets. The person who created a system for financial freedom has refused to actually profit from it. It's either the ultimate act of discipline, or maybe, just maybe, the keys are lost forever. So that brings us to the biggest question of all. After all this digging, all the speculation, does it even matter who Satoshi was? Maybe the whole point wasn't about the creator, but about the creation itself. You could argue that the greatest gift Satoshi ever gave Bitcoin was their own anonymity. They ensured the project would never have a single leader or a single point of failure. Maybe the only thing that really, truly counts is the code they left for all of us.